This video is about homeostasis and what happens when a body cannot maintain homeostasis. So let's answer this question, what is homeostasis? It's the idea of maintaining an internal environment. That is, your body temperature is 98.6. Even if you go to a really hot environment or a really cold one, your body needs to be able to maintain the internal environment 98.6. To do that, the body systems are working together with the cells, and the cells are working together with the body systems. Because if cells die, and enough cells die, then perhaps an organ will die, then that'll affect the system, and then that might affect the whole body. Or the other way around, if a system starts to shut down, then other body cells will be impacted by it. So here are three body systems that we can look at as examples and how they're going to use the principles of osmosis and diffusion and transport across membranes to maintain homeostasis. In the case of the respiratory system, we have oxygen coming into the lung in high concentrations, diffusing out of the lung into the blood vessels, and then the blood vessels are going to have a high concentration of oxygen. Now, oxygen does come into both lungs, and carbon dioxide does leave both lungs. But for our example here, we just want to illustrate how there's a high concentration of oxygen in the arteries carrying that blood away from the lungs. The blood then encounters organs. Organs have a low concentration of oxygen. So the oxygen moves from an area of high concentration in the bloodstream to an area of low concentration by diffusion to the organs. The organs use that oxygen for aerobic respiration, cellular respiration, where those cells can get energy. The organs have a high concentration of carbon dioxide because they have been going through the process of respiration. The carbon dioxide is picked up by the bloodstream, the veins, and taken back to the heart and lungs, where the carbon dioxide can be dropped off in the lungs and you can exhale that carbon dioxide. Similar picture, just showing the high concentration of carbon dioxide in the cells, the high concentration of oxygen in the blood. The oxygen is moving out of the blood into the cells. The carbon dioxide is randomly moving by diffusion from the cells into the blood. The next system is the excretory system, which helps regulate water and pH balance. You'll notice that these products go into the kidneys through the bloodstream. The kidneys will filter out some things, and the body will keep other things. The things that are going to be waste products and you're going to excrete in the urine are water, urea, salt, hydrogen ions, drugs. Your body might keep things like water, glucose, amino acids, salt, and hydrogen ions. You'll notice that some things like water are in both lists because it just depends. Sometimes your body needs to keep the water because you don't have enough. Sometimes your body gets rid of it because you have too much. The hydrogen ions will help regulate pH. If your body or blood is too acidic, by getting rid of hydrogen ions, the pH level will rise. If your body pH is too basic, by keeping the hydrogen ions, your body pH will lower closer to normal. Here's how your body deals with some of these materials. Oxygen, carbon dioxide move across the membranes by diffusion, urea by diffusion, but things like water, salt, hydrogen ions that are polar, they can't just go through a membrane on their own. They need a protein gate or channel. That's facilitated diffusion. Glucose is a large molecule. It also needs some help. Same with amino acids. Sodium and potassium are pumped against the concentration gradient, active transport, to get them in the right concentrations in the right areas. So here's a cell that is producing waste. That waste goes to the blood. The nutrients from the blood go into the cell. That blood now filled with waste is going to go to the kidneys. The kidneys are going to filter some of it out through these processes of transport, and they're going to keep some and get rid of others. The endocrine system regulates hormones, and hormones can regulate your sugar balance. And so we can see this illustrated with insulin, the hormone, and glucagon, the hormone. When you eat something sugary, your blood sugar levels are up. There's a high concentration of sugar in your blood. But in order to get to the cells, the hormone insulin is necessary to lower your blood sugar levels, get it back to normal. If your blood sugar levels are low, then glucagon will target the liver to release sugar into your bloodstream. If a person has diabetes, they will need to take an insulin injection. What that means is their blood sugar level is high, but their blood sugar cannot get into the cells. So by taking an insulin injection, the sugar is able to enter those cells. Without that sugar, those cells would not live. Here's what that looks like. Notice insulin has to open the glucose channel. So glucose is a large molecule that's going to influence how it diffuses. That insulin unlocks the glucose channel, allowing that large molecule to enter the cell. The cell is going to use that glucose for respiration and energy. This is a picture of negative feedback. Sometimes your body maintains homeostasis by negative feedback. What that means is whenever your body goes out of balance, it will counteract it. So if your body temperature is too high, it's going to counteract it by negative feedback to make it back to normal. If your blood pH is too low, it's going to counteract it to get that pH back to normal. A receptor, a nerve ending, is going to sense that there's something not right. Send a message to your brain, the control center typically. The brain's going to send a message to an effector, a muscle or gland, that's going to tell your body how to get back to normal. So that's negative feedback. Whenever you're out of normal, it gets you back into normal. Your other option is positive feedback. Positive feedback just amplifies the cycle until the cycle's broken. So birth is a great example where the baby's head presses against the cervix. That sends a signal to the brain to release a hormone, oxytocin, that causes the uterine lining to contract, which makes the baby's head push even harder against the cervix, which sends another signal to the brain, which sends another signal to the uterus to increase the level of contractions. And that cycle keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until the baby's born. And without the baby's head on the cervix, the cycle stops. That's positive feedback. If your body can't maintain homeostasis, if none of those things can happen, if the positive feedback isn't working, if the negative feedback isn't working, if the systems are shutting down, then you're going to die because your systems aren't able to maintain that internal environment. Or you might have a disorder or disease that's fairly debilitating. So homeostasis can be very important because your body needs to maintain its internal environmental conditions.